This summary is about the book, The Art of Reading Minds. In this book, you will learn about the art of understanding people by reading their silent cues, including body language, facial expressions, and vocal tone. Imagine you're standing in a crowd. People are talking, laughing, and busy with their own work. But suddenly, your eyes fall on one person. There's a smile on their face, yet a strange sadness is hidden in their eyes. Words are coming from their lips, but their heart's voice is somewhere else. Have you ever felt that someone says a lot without speaking? We humans often believe that words are the most important thing for communication, but the truth is that real communication never depends on words. Small actions, facial expressions, the moisture in the eyes, the tone of the voice, all these together tell our real story. This is the art that helps us read other people's minds. The art of reading minds. Just think how different life would be if you could understand what someone is feeling just by looking into their eyes. What if you could know from the intonation of their voice whether they are telling the truth or just pretending? No lie will ever be able to deceive you. No unspoken secret will remain hidden from you. This is not just the art of reading, but a way to reach people's hearts and minds. But the question is it really possible to do this? Is the human mind that easy to read? The answer is yes, because no matter how much a person tries, their mind and body always reveal their true feelings. We just have to learn to recognize those signals. When you learn this art, the world suddenly seems to change. You catch the hidden pain in the eyes of a friend who says, "I'm fine." You recognize the lie of a person standing with a smile from the slight tremble in their voice. This is a power that not only gives you the ability to understand people, but also the strength to connect with them on a deeper level. The most interesting thing is that this art is not just limited to reading others. When you start to understand people better, your relationships, your conversations, and even your success reach a new level. Because when you know the other person's thoughts, you're able to reach their heart. Now, imagine a life where you understand people's true feelings without them saying a word, where you can differentiate between lies and truth, and where you can hear the unspoken things that people cannot say in their words. This is the magic of this book. It gives you a new perspective to understand people. Are you ready to embark on this journey where every look, every smile, and every silence will tell a new story? Chapter 1. The Basics of Communication. Have you ever thought that when someone talks to you, the real meaning lies in their words or their gestures? Just imagine for a moment, you meet someone. They are smiling and saying, "Hi, how are you?" But there is no sparkle in their eyes and their smile seems forced. Don't you feel that their words and their expressions don't match each other? This is the first truth of communication. Real conversation does not happen with words, but with unspoken signals. When two people meet, their minds work in several layers. One layer is of words that they speak, but a much deeper layer is of their body language, their facial expressions, and their voice's tone, and this layer speaks more truth. Think how many times it has happened that someone said, "I'm fine," but you knew from their demeanor that they were not fine at all. This is communication beyond words. It is the very thing that connects one human to another. Our eyes, our gestures, our breathing speed, everything reveals our emotions without a word. In fact, when we are born, we understand the world with gestures before words. A child cannot speak, yet from their eyes, their laughter, and their crying, we understand what they are feeling. As we grow up, we start trusting words so much that we forget the real power of these gestures. Now, think how different your life could be if you learned the art of reading these nonverbal signals. You can stand in a crowd and know who is full of confidence and who is just pretending. You can read the minds of your friends, your family, and even strangers. This is a power that gives depth to your relationships and the ability to see the world from a new perspective. But all this is not easy, because people often try to hide their true feelings. They smile to hide their pain, they remain silent to suppress their anger. But their body, their face, and their voice always speak the truth. You just need to know how to listen to them. When you start to understand these signals, you suddenly realize that people are telling you a lot without speaking, without saying. Whatever they are feeling is hidden in their small gestures, in their slight glance, in a small change in their voice. And this is the real beginning, the beginning of reading the world without words. When you learn this art, you don't just read people, but their stories, their unspoken truths, their hidden emotions. Everything starts to open up in front of you. So, are you ready? Because this journey begins from here, from that first step where you understand that real communication is what happens without speaking. And once you understand this, your world is never the same again. Chapter 2. Understanding the mind. Have you ever thought about why a person feels what they think and acts the way they do? The mind is like a mysterious maze where thoughts, emotions, and habits are intertwined. From the outside, we may look calm, but the storm inside never stops. Thousands of thoughts run through every person's mind that they never say out loud, but their body and their eyes tell everything. Our mind is always active. Whether you're talking to someone, standing in a crowd, or sitting alone, your mind is constantly feeling things that you don't even pay attention to. For example, when you meet a new person, an instant feeling is born in your mind. Is this person trustworthy? Are they genuine? The surprising thing is that you make this decision without even hearing a single word. This happens because the human mind does not trust words alone. It pays attention to those small details that we often don't even realize. The intonation of their voice, the direction of their eyes, the speed of their breathing, all this together shows us a glimpse of the other person's true feelings.
People often try to hide their truth. They smile, even when they are broken inside. They say, "I'm fine," even when their eyes are full of pain. And this is where the art of understanding comes in handy. When you start to read someone's mind, you don't just listen to their words, you catch their unconscious signals. Just think, when you see one of your loved ones and understand that they are upset without them saying anything, they just look at you and smile, but you can clearly see the restlessness within them. This is the power of understanding the human mind, a feeling that is beyond words. The mind not only hides emotions, but sometimes also deceives us. We think that we are in control of everything, but the reality is that our body and our expressions reveal our inner truth to the world. This is why when you master this art, you can see people in their true identity. This journey of understanding is not easy. It requires patience, sharp observation, and most of all, empathy. When you descend into the depths of others' minds, you don't just see their gestures, but their stories. You realize that there is a reason behind every smile, a pain behind every silence, and a secret hidden in every glance. This is why understanding the mind is not just a skill, but a connection, a bridge that connects one human to another. When you learn this, you don't just understand people, you start to feel them, and this is the moment when you start seeing the world more clearly than ever before. So, the next time you talk to someone, don't just listen to their words. Look into their eyes, listen to their voice, and feel their silence. Because the truth of the mind is always hidden where we forget to look. This is the real art of understanding the mind, and this is where the real magic begins. Chapter 4. The Power of Observation. Have you ever noticed that some people just look and understand everything? For example, they can tell what the person in front of them is thinking by looking at their gait, the movement of their eyes, or their hands. This is the real power of observation, the skill with which you can see things that others miss. Observation is not just about seeing, but about seeing deeply. It is the name of the ability to catch every small gesture. For example, when a person is constantly wringing their fingers while talking or looking here and there, these gestures are silently expressing their unrestlessness, fear, or confusion. Just imagine you are sitting in a cafe. Two people are sitting at a nearby table. One person is laughing loudly, but their eyes are constantly looking towards the door. Their laughter is fake. If you pay attention, you will clearly feel their nervousness. This is the magic of observation, seeing things that others overlook. In reality, the human mind and body are never completely in control. When a person is nervous, their breathing becomes fast. When they are angry, their jaw muscles become tight. When they are happy, their eyes light up. All these signals are in front of us, but most people just don't notice them. The power of observation is not limited to just understanding others. When you start looking carefully, you start seeing the world from a new perspective. You begin to notice small things, like the slight smile on someone's face that lasted only for a second, or the deep breath they took to hide their fear. This art teaches you patience, because for deep observation, you have to stop and look. You have to feel people, and when you do this, you realize that every human being is an open book. You just need attention to read its pages. But there is a secret here. Observation is not done only with the eyes. You also have to see with your mind and heart, because only when you look at the other person's gestures and expressions with empathy can you understand the real story of their mind. Slowly, this habit changes your life. You start knowing your friend's moods without asking. You understand a stranger's fear or confidence just by looking at their walk. This is the moment when you feel that this art not only gives you the ability to read people, but also to connect with them. The real power of observation comes to the fore when you use it at the right time, because when you understand others' nonverbal cues, you catch their unspoken emotions. This is what sets you apart from the crowd. So, the next time you meet someone, don't just listen to their words. Look at their face, look into their eyes, and notice their small movements, because the story that is not in words is often written in gestures. This is the real magic of observation, that silent language which you can learn to read to reach anyone's mind. Chapter 4. Body language, the silent conversation. Imagine you meet someone and they don't say a single word to you. Still, you understand their state of mind. How? This is the power of body language, a silent conversation that says everything without a sound. We see body language every day, but we often fail to understand it. For example, when a person stands with their arms crossed, it is often a sign of their inner insecurity or defensiveness. When someone leans forward to talk to you, it is a sign of their interest. And when someone sits away from you, it is clear that they want to maintain distance. Pay attention. When you are angry with someone, your face becomes stern and your body stiffens up. Without saying anything, the other person understands your anger. Similarly, when you are happy, your walk becomes lighter, your shoulders relax, and your smile is visible from afar. This is the magical world of body language, which speaks the truth.
Without words. In fact, body language is the window that gives an opportunity to peek inside a person's mind and heart. It is the language that we all speak, whether we realize it or not. Have you ever noticed that when a person is lying, their body becomes restless? Their eyes wander here and there, and they touch their face or neck repeatedly. All these are signs of their inner nervousness. But understanding body language is not limited to just paying attention to gestures. You also have to understand the context. For example, if a person is standing with their arms crossed in the cold, it's possible that they are just protecting themselves from the weather. But if the same person is doing this while standing in a warm room, it means they are uncomfortable or don't agree with something. The beauty of this silent conversation is that it always tells the truth. A person can change their words, but their body cannot hide their truth. This is why people who learn to read body language quickly recognize others' true emotions. Imagine you are in an interview, and the person in front of you might be saying, "Your resume is good," but their body is leaning back, and their eyebrows are slightly furrowed. Without words, you understand that they are not impressed. Or think you go to a party, and a person standing far away is repeatedly looking at you, smiling, but not coming close. Their body language reveals both their hesitation and their interest. Reading body language is not just a skill. It is an art. It shows you the way to reach people's real thoughts and their hidden emotions. When you understand this, you start paying attention not only to words during a conversation, but to the person's entire personality. And this is what sets you apart from the crowd. So the next time you meet someone, don't just listen to their words. Look at their hand movements. Notice their walk and pay attention to their sitting style, because the body never lies. And when you learn to read this silent language, you realize that the real conversation happens without words. Chapter 5. Facial Expressions and Emotions. Have you ever looked closely at someone's face? They smile, but their eyes don't match that smile. Or someone, without saying anything, makes you feel with just their gaze as if they understand your pain. This is the real power of facial expressions and emotions. A person's face is the mirror of their soul. Everything that words often hide is written on it. This language of facial expressions is very complex, yet very clear. For example, when someone is genuinely happy, not only do their lips smile, but slight wrinkles form at the corners of their eyes, and their eyes sparkle. But when someone gives a fake smile, this sparkle is missing. You must have noticed that in a fake smile, the eyes always look empty. The small muscles of our face reveal the truth of our mind. When we are scared, our eyebrows furrow and our eyes widen. When we are angry, the jaw tightens and the lips become tense. And when we are sad, our gaze lowers and the sparkle in our eyes fades. All this happens so fast that sometimes we ourselves can't feel these micro-expressions, but still they affect the person in front of us. Think for a moment. You meet one of your friends. They say, "I'm fine," but their smile is weak. There are dark circles under their eyes, and their voice is low. Without them saying a word, you know that they are not fine. This is the real language of facial expressions, which speaks before words and is much more truthful. The beauty of this art is that when you learn to understand it, you can reach people's true emotions. It takes you to the unspoken truths that people want to hide. For example, a person smiles repeatedly, but there is no warmth in their smile, or someone increases their blinking rate while talking. This can be a sign of their inner nervousness. This art of reading faces not only helps in understanding others, but also connects you with them on a deeper level. When you recognize someone's emotions on their face, empathy is born within you automatically. You feel their pain, you share in their happiness, and you can hear the questions hidden in their silence. And the most surprising thing is that sometimes these expressions are so small that they disappear in a fraction of a second. These are called micro-expressions. They come for fractions of a second, but they are the truest mirror of a person's mind. When you catch them, you can differentiate between lies and truth. You can understand the other person's real intentions. So the next time you talk to someone, don't just pay attention to their words. Look closely at their face, their smile, the sparkle in their eyes, the slight movement of their eyebrows. All these things tell you the story of their mind, because the face never lies. And when you learn to read this language, you realize that the real key to understanding humans is hidden in their face. Chapter 6. The Role of the Voice. Have you ever noticed that just by listening to a person's voice, we can recognize their emotions? Someone says, "I'm fine," but their voice sounds low and broken. You immediately understand that they are not really fine. The voice is not just a medium for words. It is a direct path to our heart. It hides feelings that the face can't always show. The power hidden in the voice is very mysterious. For example, when someone is happy, their voice becomes light, fast, and lively. On the other hand, when someone is sad, their voice becomes heavy and slow. During fear, the voice trembles, and in anger, the voice becomes loud and harsh. All these changes are so natural that no matter how much a person tries, they cannot completely control them. Think, when you talk on the phone and don't see the other person's face, you still recognize their mood. Why? Because the voice is expressing their emotions. It hides the entire map of their confidence, their fear, their hesitation, and their happiness. The intonation, speed, and tone of the voice say a lot. If a person is speaking fast, they might be excited or nervous. A slow and steady voice, on the other hand, is often a sign of confidence and peace.
But the most interesting thing is that these signals never come alone. They combine with facial expressions and body language to tell us a complete story. Many times, people try to hide the truth. They lie while laughing, but the depth of their voice betrays them. You will notice that while lying, the voice's tone becomes a little high or a slight hesitation comes into it. These small signals reveal the real secrets. This is not just limited to catching lies. When you learn to listen carefully to someone's voice, you also start to feel their unspoken emotions. For example, by listening to a friend's tired voice, you understand how hard they must have worked all day. Or by a person's slight laugh, you share in their happiness. The voice is not just an external signal. It is a direct glimpse of the inner feelings. It tells how calm or how troubled a person is inside. When you learn to understand the tone and rhythm of someone's voice, you start to reach the depth of their mind. So the next time you talk to someone, don't just listen to their words. Feel the intonation of their voice. Listen to every pause, every long breath, and every slight tremble, because the voice is the mirror that brings the most hidden truth of the mind to the surface. When you learn this art, you realize that to understand humans, it is not only necessary to see with the eyes, but also to listen with the heart. This is the moment when you will feel that the voice is not just a sound, but an emotional bridge that goes directly to a person's heart. Chapter 8. Reading the Unconscious Signals. Have you ever felt that some people look at you as if they have reached the depth of your mind? As if you say something or not, they already know everything? This is not magic. This is the art of reading unconscious signals, the signals that a person gives unknowingly, without thinking, without understanding. Our unconscious mind is always active. When we feel an emotion, its effect immediately becomes visible on our body. No matter how much we try to hide, our unconscious reveals us on its own. For example, when lying, the eyes wander, the hands become sweaty when scared, or an instant smile appears on our face upon seeing a loved one, without thinking. All these are signals that the mind does not send consciously. They come out on their own. Imagine you are sitting in a meeting. The person in front is talking confidently. The words are perfectly correct, but you notice that their leg is constantly shaking, where their hands are trembling. From the outside, they look calm, but their unconscious is revealing their nervousness. These are the gestures that tell the real truth. To read unconscious signals, it is not just necessary to see, but to feel. You have to notice a slight change in someone's voice, their blinking speed, or a micro-expression that appears on their face for a moment. They come for a fraction of a second and sometimes disappear so fast that most people can't even catch them. But when you read them, you reach a person's true emotions. These signals tell us if someone is happy, sad, scared, or hiding something. When you learn to understand them, instead of listening to people's superficial talk, you start to look inside them. It's like someone giving you an invisible key with which you can open the doors of human emotions. But this power is not limited to just understanding others. When you learn to read unconscious cues, you also start to recognize your own habits and reactions. You start to know when you become defensive without a reason, or when your fear starts to control you. This understanding creates self-awareness within you and makes you even deeper. Think, what if you could understand someone's heart
heart without them saying anything. That friend who says everything is fine, but you can read the pain hidden in their face and voice. That colleague who shows fake confidence, but the restlessness of their hands tells you their truth. The art of reading unconscious signals connects you with humans on a deeper level. It is not just a skill, but an experience that changes your perspective. When you learn it, you don't just see people, you feel them. And this is the real magic, to be able to recognize the truth hidden behind the face people show to the world. When you understand this silent language, it feels like you have cracked the code of the human mind. And at that moment, you become not just a listener for others, but a person who understands everything without being told.
Chapter 8. Building Trust and Rapport. Imagine you meet a new person for the first time. They smile, shake your hand, and a conversation begins. But have you ever felt that some people win your trust in a moment, while with others a distance remains even after talking for hours? This is the power of trust and rapport, that invisible thread that connects even two strangers. Trust is the foundation of any relationship. When you trust someone, your walls come down. You talk openly, share your secrets, and feel comfortable in their presence. But building trust is not that easy. For this, not just words, but the truth of emotions is needed. Trust is born in relationships when you make the other person feel that you genuinely understand them, when you listen to their unspoken words while looking into their eyes, and when you recognize the burden on their mind in the slight change in their voice's tone. These are the small moments that slowly build the depth of trust. Building rapport means that you and the other person come to the same wavelength. For example, when you talk to a person who thinks like you, laughs in your style, or repeats your words, a strange comfort is born. This connection does not happen suddenly. It is slowly created by your gestures, your expressions, and your attention.
Think you are talking to a friend. They are upset. You listen to their words, look into their eyes, and without saying anything, just pat their back. In that moment, a trust is built between you that is not created by any word, but by the silent language of emotions. This is the beauty of rapport, that connection that flows from heart to heart. The most important thing for building trust is genuine presence. When you make the other person feel that you are completely with them, listening to them, and understanding them, their mind starts to open up. Slowly, they let their guard down and become the person they really are in front of you. But there is a secret here. Trust is not only built by understanding others, but also by showing your vulnerability. When you show your vulnerability, when you share your experiences and emotions, the other person feels that you are also human. This is the moment that connects both of you. Trust and rapport are not just necessary in friendships or relationships, but in every aspect of life, whether it is business, family, or meeting new people. When you learn to build trust, people feel comfortable around you. They're drawn to you because you understand them and genuinely listen to them. When you master the art of reading others' minds, trust starts to form on its own, because now you are not just listening to their words, but also understanding their silence. This connection sets you apart from the crowd and makes your presence memorable. In the end, this art teaches us that the deepest relationship between humans is the one that is based on understanding and trust. When you hear a person's unspoken voice and make them feel that they're not alone, that moment creates a relationship that goes far beyond words. This is the real power of building trust and rapport, that bridge that connects hearts. Conclusion. And this is the real beauty of The Art of Reading Minds. This book teaches us that to understand people, it is not enough to just listen to their words. Real understanding comes when you learn to feel their silence, their body language, their voice, their facial expressions, and their unconscious signals. Think about it. When you learn to read all these things, you don't just understand people, but connect with them deeply. You can feel their pain without them saying it, and you can share their happiness without them speaking. This is the art that changes your relationships, gives real depth to your communication, and gives you a distinct identity in the crowd. In the end, this is not just a skill, but a perspective to see the world, to understand people, and to genuinely connect with them, because the truth is often hidden not in words, but in silence and gestures.